Well, guys, what can I say? The alliance match has ended. GG's to everyone involved and all that. As it looks like Freemasons bid to split apart the coalition and all that did work out in the end. And as I said, I will be looking at all the messages y'all are giving me and all that to basically show us we can communicate and all that. Didn't want to show until the end of this, you know. So let's see here. First off, points. Freemasons absolutely crushed the solo victory requirement, honestly. And because he did that, he actually attacked Texas, took out 60 points from them, and used that to essentially win. So he won hardcore. Even though we could technically say Mexico would be in first, he wasn't a coalition. It's really weird, but it is what it is. This is the payout that everyone got. Or what? So yeah, GG's everyone. Can't wait to see you on the next one. So apparently the only populations is Vancouver, Mexico. This man wins and brings peace to millions. Much longer hunger will reign, much longer have amateur substances, yada yada. Okay, so it's the same message no matter what mode you're playing and all that. But yeah, this basically does wrap up the Alliance match though now. And yeah, we'll see this. I'll let you know that at this point I'll probably be on break, not break, but I probably won't be doing a match for like 2 to 3 more days at this. I don't know. If someone before, it just depends. But yeah, I'm just gonna be chilling for a little bit before you see my next series and all that. New and improved too, I hope. So, messages. I'll start from bottom to top and all that. Nothing, 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 nothing. Because I eventually got it to one that actually does have some talking. So Brazil. The King of Quebec. Would you like a second feel as USA? I mean Dutch one, sorry, bruh. Have this little bit of your own. I know, right? Claw Man. He tried to hit me with an offer. He wanted Kemptville. I still do not know why. Mr. Nug tried doing a deal steal. And now, we'll look at this. So I'm going to guess you only improvements like coalitions. This is the first days of the war. This is the same kind of thing. I would suggest you Freemasons in Quebec, as you guys are clustered together. Mr. Nugs, Clement giving Ellen Wards together. King Rip and I plus 7 feels less for Sons Nurses, hopefully like Master Crimson Knight and First Steps. Wonder how many of us will join us, yada yada. I wonder how many of us will join Discord. Times and strategies. Easier difficult is trying want to check the game and haunted. I want to know your strong sides and who needs the most help. Okay, I guess I'm into a coalition. Asking for shared maps. So yeah. Tell them for you to study your strategies. I didn't tell them that. I just say, hey, give me your map. So, yeah. If y'all are part of this alliance on Discord, for one, tell me on Discord. We'll hit you up with a tag because you guys have your own chat. But essentially, it was Mexico's idea to ask y'all for shared coverage. Initially, I was thinking, oh, come in as a normal player, but then after a minute, I was like, oh wait, no, this could just be like a spectator thing, and that's what I settled on, just being a complete spectator in this endeavor. Send a few units to sort of capture all my empty areas near you. When you do, I'll move my units home. I'd say 3 inch will do the job. I can't taste something like that, my boy. Has someone else do it near you, not me. I'll protect and content, protect everyone else as I see. What if I declare? Oh yeah, Mexico, I'm sorry. It is what it is. But this is the only person that's in China size to deal. Like, I see y'all out there. I understand why, but I just could not take it. Hopefully this isn't any bad blood between any of us after this comes out. Since I hope I did make it clear. Like in the first few days, if you do message me, I'm revealing them all, you know? Wouldn't it make more sense for Freemasons to take you on after all we are in the coalition so you took land? I would still benefit, but I have no intention of attacking us. I'm attacked. If you did declare on me, I would have to drag name through mud in the videos. All nice. So yeah, this was offered to me 22nd, so yeah, this match could have ended earlier if I did take up Mexico's offer. I chose not to. Now for Freemasons. We'll do it past the drama part and all that. So let's go figure out where it's at. I was understand. I was like, because I'm focused with things in front of me. So yeah. I mean, also, so yeah, looking back, this makes sense as he was actually drunk while giving me these messages and all that. There's that yada yada. There's another ugly cake, so still whatever. Because I was heavy, because I want to. Okay, I think this. Yeah, this is my bluff. Like I said, is one saying one. It's only because you're not watching. I'm gonna watch and like it. Of course, honestly, I haven't yet because I went because I used it so much, so I haven't looked at my promise. I will must say thank you, my friend, for the coverage. I apologize for the drama. So after this is where drunk, touch base, Glenny. So after this is where nothing was shown. Never mind, I forgot your niche. My band was actually my brother. Sorry, it's of God no sweat. I love the cast. I saw the latest one, brother. Awesome stuffs. I enjoy it. Don't push you. Venezuela said use gold when he touched. Is that true? So here is where the gold thing gets cleared up finally. He said I bought gold. I did not. I actually did a plethora of gold and felt was a great time to use it because no one ever said yes or no to gold prior. So I wonder why this even matters. Yeah, it seems that's something that you did, lol. Because, you know, he didn't message me on YouTube. He did say it in the game and all that. And, yeah, let's just go look back at that Venezuela moment, though. I think that was, like, what, day 16 or so? No. They're already attacking at that point, so I think it was the day before. Beast Trigger, was it 14th? 13th. Yeah, there's no war. Like, it's like just like a Christmas kind of present thing. So I'm trying to figure out what exact day it was. Woot. Yep. Was it 20th? No, at this point, because Cascadia was doing its head. Yeah, I gotta find it. I wish it was a little bit easier. Let's just do Venezuela. Okay. I don't think I spelled it right, did I? Venezuela retreat. Right? I like your gold Freemason. So it was the 12th. Wow, that was way earlier than I thought. So yeah. I did elaborate on the rules with Mexico, Smoking Caliber, as he is a fellow officer and all that. And from what he's told me, I did ask him what the rules were. I didn't seem like gold was banned. I could be wrong. Anyway, let's get to the last of the messages here and all that. Again, hopefully no bad blood between me and this guy. Well, sir, son, I think I'm only chance to possibly win this league coalition go solo. I will stay allied. I will attack Colombia for the first place. If not, it's going to be me versus Mexico and Texas at the same temperature. Unless you want to start expanding, betting, and we take them on low. But I appreciate if you didn't say nothing. Go for it. I'm gonna wait till I catch more territories and boom. Wish you luck till then. So yeah, basically, that's all the messages I have received, as you can see. Mexico. So surprisingly, the two high-ranked people tried to make a deal with me. Mexico had me try to take him on, which I didn't care about, honestly. As I said, I want to remain completely neutral. And then, Santy Man didn't want me to mention the, thing he was doing, which, you know, honestly, wasn't even worst at all. Like, I understand leading a coalition to win solo. I've seen it before. I've even thought about doing it before, and my earlier series before, like conflict and all that. But yeah, Venezuela. Final guy's answer. Freemasons did use gold. I did notice because I wasn't paying attention before. I did suspect it and all that. You know, I did remember at the start of the match. I did mention I did have favorites who I wanted to win, but due to a completely neutral thing, I didn't mention it whatsoever. And as you see, I fed them no info. There's times where I thought about it, but you know, if I had to let an ally sink, I'm gonna let them sink. So, out of everyone here, the person I was expecting to win is still alive. Surprisingly, I wanted Hispanic Nueva Mexico to win. He was the guy I was betting on to win. Honestly, I'm happy he survived and all that. And I wasn't too sure how he'd do, but once I saw his train Cascadia, I knew he definitely had something in him that was good. So yeah, Hispanic of Mexico was my favorite to win. He's the one I expected to win, even if he was the underdog. Just simply because I know he's good at conflict, and I didn't know anyone else's skills up until now. Um, now, strategies. So, Mexico did tell me this early on. His entire strategy revolved around artillery fire and all that. So, he did want to lay back and pelt people and all that. Venezuela's strategy, I couldn't really make out any sort of strategy he had going for him, sadly, and all that. Hispanic Nueva Mexico strategy was similar to mine, be completely defensive, but have combined armor and infantry though for any fights. And then he also went for airplanes and stuff because he knew no one else had AA, so he could use that to his advantage. So he kind of adapts on the field. Freemasons, from what I could tell, he loves brute forcing stuff. What I mean by that, he loves going for infantry, no artillery usually, and no air vehicles, just straight brute forcing it. He even does with Navy too, with destroyers and all that, and subs, as you can see here, and all that. So yeah, Freemasons loves doing kind of a more overpower your opponents on the ground strategy. No range. Texas. It seemed like his strategy was go for a cost-efficient army, but make a lot of them, which included a lot of tanks and all that, which, now that he's actually died, we can't really see that, but basically, go for tanks, build up small infantry, and go for motorized eventually, nothing too advanced. Cascadia's, well, his was make cost-efficient units, strong, so make small army very powerful. It didn't work out for him, so he switched it up. So Cascadia can switch it up to fit the needs of anything, which is very interesting because once he got pushed back by his segment in Mexico, he realized what he had to do to fight them. So instead of doing infantry, he actually started going for armor, like a little bit mechanized, motorized, medium mechs. He went all into the armor and all that. Let me think. I'm trying to remember. Cuba, I couldn't really decipher any strategies he was using and all that. Oh, another thing from Mexico, for the mentions, he loves coastline watching, as I would call it, as in he wants complete coverage off the coastline, just so he knows if anyone's going anywhere near him. From what I can tell, like, he has so many units on the coast, it's insane. But he's like one of the few people I've seen that plays like an AI, and what I mean by that is having units and basically like in the middle of his areas and captured territories just randomly there. Great. Great strategy though, honestly. All these are great. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. Dutch America. He did die off. I'm trying to think what he was going for. I think he was doing what Cascadia was doing without the industries. So just going off a warfare thing, Dutch America loved having like a strong army, but sadly it took up a lot of resources, and it seems like it may have spread out just a little bit too much, and eventually got collapsed because of it. And sadly, starting in the Midwest is really tough because you're surrounded by multiple people and all that. Kingdom of Quebec. There wasn't enough time to decipher what he was going for, in my opinion. Like, there's people who got killed off extremely fast who I just can't decipher what they're going for, honestly. Like Colombia, I couldn't tell you honestly. I'd have to look at my videos and estimate and all that. So Colombia, Quebec, Cuba, those three were dead too much. California Republic, that was a player? Yes, that's four. So yeah. So that's the warfare thing. Now let's talk economically. Industries and all that. And buildings. So for Mexico, early on, he did not care about industries, but once he started shifting into more powerful units, that's when he switched it around and started making a lot of industries, from what I've noticed. So, industrialization is not his priority until he starts ramping up unit production. So instead of doing it prematurely, he does it when he needs it. Texas, though, going off an economical standpoint, it seems like he doesn't, for one, he doesn't check the game as much, but he doesn't care that much about economic stuff because he's going for cheap units. Why would he need to go for that? You know? He probably had a good tight lid on it. Cascadia. I noticed this with Cascadia, just like Mexico, he only really ramped it up when he needed it. Now, over here we can see that, considering of Mexico, I think he did ramp it up at the start. Like, he did do a little bit prematurely, and once he started moving into medium mechs and planes, I think that's when he also started kicking it up too. So it seems like a lot of people won't do it beforehand, but do it when it's the upkeep production. So, like, for example, I have 170 fuel, I'll let this keep dropping, but if it gets too low, then I'll upgrade it, instead of doing it prematurely so I don't have to worry about it in the future. Now, that can work. Like, sometimes it's worth it for that to happen. Now, Freemasons, though, he also had a case of he didn't ramp up industries until towards the end of the game, simply because it wasn't needed. Like, this is when he started before wanting to use gold, and so he may have used those resources, I don't know, so it may not have been necessary to him, but it seems like he didn't really want to ramp it up until it was necessary. Again, just like most people. Like, the only person who seemed to really start doing it prematurely was, considering of Mexico and me, technically. Like, I don't want to go for anything here except, like, just complete anti-everything. Like, basically be defensive and all that. Now, something I have noticed across the board here, though. Does Cascadia have any surviving cities I can look at? I don't think he does. Yeah, it's all gone. When everyone was getting attacked, as in getting pushed in, I noticed one thing that I saw no one doing, and that was just building up fortresses. Like, no one in this, barely, I had to say barely, because some people did build one on one city or one on two cities, but I'm surprised that a lot of people went toward other players, especially late game. Late game being after 2 weeks, and they didn't build fortresses before an attack. Like, if you're attacking someone, like, personally, if I'm going to attack a player who has been getting geared up for a while and there's not that many people up, I think going for fortresses for your homeland is very vital, indeed, and all that. So, very great. Now, let's talk defensive strategies. We talked about the army and their offensive stuff. We talked about industries, but we haven't talked about their unit spread. Now, this may come off as a little bit harsh, but some people had great unit spread and some people had bad unit spread. Now, this is coming from my very limited experience, so these could be completely wrong, but it's just my opinion. I'll start right to left. Freemason's Lodge. For one, let me define unit spread. How spread out your units are, and if it's even good for you, just like in general. Because, to me, there is a thing as dedicating too much units to attacking. So what that means is, do you dedicate your basically entire army to attacking and leaving no one to defend your homeland cities? So Freemasons, he had a great attacking army, but he barely defended his homeland cities. Which I don't say this, but I say like at least 70% of people I fought don't defend the homeland cities. Like at this point, it's actually surprised when they have units on it. Because for me, I keep units on my cities. I defend my homeland cities, and just in general, I like defending my homeland by keeping units back. So I'll probably send off up to half my army to attack and keep the other half defending. Now, for Freemasons, he did not defend his homeland cities whatsoever and all that. Instead, he just sent his armies off to attack and all that, which is great, but if you're going to send them all to attack, what is the point of making fortresses? So yeah, for Freemasons, great attacking, bad homeland defense. And now, when I mean homeland, I'm not talking about occupied territories, I'm just talking about the homeland part only. So yes, he does have a lot of homeland, not homeland, but occupied, but again, only homeland. That's the part that really matters to defend. Because occupied is great, yeah, but if you don't have your homeland, you are going to be in a lot of pain. Texas. Now, he relied on Mexico, at least in the end game, to defend his stuff. So I have to say, it's decent defense. Like, it'd be better if he did it himself. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was still defended, albeit by Mexico, so if Mexico didn't want to get in a war with me, Freemasons, or Hispanic during Mexico, and they went for Texas, may not be a good idea. But, yeah. I'd say Texas had a little bit of a mediocre defense, but better than having none at all. Mexico, in all my matches I played, Mexico has probably one of the tightest defenses I've ever seen. Not only, I mean, his homeland defense, yeah, I'll admit it is a little bit weak, honestly, since he doesn't have as many units here as I personally would like, but considering he has such a hardcore defense, especially down here, I'd say it's pretty good. Like, it's one of the better ones I've seen in playing all these games and all that. So all in all, Mexico actually had a pretty good one. And something that I will mention that he did right, that some people may want to know, is that he actually defended his ports harder than his mainland cities. Now that's important because if you lose a port city, that is really bad. Because you're losing ship production, especially if it's a homeland one. So like for here, we can see he had artillery off the side. And he even put it in a place where you have to come into the divots to hit it unless you're like a really... I guess a Gemma could hit it from there, but essentially it'd be hard to actually take it out easily without range support. He had 2 infantry here and a sub here defending it. Down here wasn't as defended, but he still had a sub and infantry defending it. And he basically defended that hardcore more than his mainland, which, isn't that important if you're like a coastal thing. Like, if all you see is on the coast, it's better to protect your coast than your mainland. I know it's probably contradictory, because for Texas and Freemasons, you could argue that they're completely coastal, but what Mexico did here is down south, he had nowhere for defense, since he had a lot of stuff here. So yeah, I'd say Mexico overall, good homeland defense, really good, although this northern part does leave a little bit to imagination, since he doesn't really have a strong defense up here as he does in the south, just nation-wise. But again, still one of the best ones I've seen. His Kingdom of Mexico, I don't know what the hell he's going for, but it's non-existent. like one firestorm and your entire army's gone with this, honestly. I am still confused why he even did that. I'm guessing it's just that will of an AI now at this point. I don't know. But essentially, his thing when Mexico early on, it was great. Because his defense early on, though, he actually started Cascadia and it was great. And because of that, in the early starts of the game, first 2 weeks, his thing with Mexico was great. The second part, it was completely bad because of this right here, just stacking units from like the one province off to the side. Now Cascadia, I still remember this. His was terrible because he lost his capital. If you lose your capital, your mainland defense needs to be better because that's like one of the first cities he even lost from his mainland. So essentially, Cascadia had a mediocre one that did not pay out. Still better than what the Freemasons had, admittedly, but because of the way he was attacking, he had like non-existent defense, you know? Like Cascadia did have a good army. But sadly, he just chose not to defend his mainland. So yeah, it is still surprising to me that the Freemasons won like that, especially since Mexico refused to lead the coalition to win like that. You know? As some people say, different strokes for different folks. So I don't know what, I mean, I guess it means, hey, for Freemasons, it works for them to do it solo, it doesn't matter. But for Mexico, he wanted to do it a coalition way. So in all, I'd say Mexico is the ranged guy and all that, and he could definitely put on a strong defense as a result. Freemasons is the aggressive guy. He doesn't focus on defense that much, like at all, really. But he does know how to make a pretty strong infantry army. Texas, he does like going for cheap units and all that, which isn't bad. And he really prioritizes attacking, but not as hardcore as Freemasons did. So he likes taking his time with people instead of Freemasons just complete smash through it, consistently move in. And his thing with Mexico, he just basically chilled out and only attacked when attacked and all that. And played a completely defensive game. And Venezuela, to be fair, I'm actually surprised for Freemasons. I don't know why he did that. To me, that was such a risky move, but it is what it is. And you see here that Venezuela did live to the end with Buenaventura and all that. So Venezuela technically survived till the end. Same with Dutch America, apparently. But now movement. Freemasons sent his armies on big treks that could easily be stopped. Not a bad thing, but if you're gonna be away from, if you're away from the game for like 1 to 2 days at a time, that's not bad. But considering how it was pulled off, it could definitely be countered easily. All his units with the way he did it. Like what now this can come from my personal experience. I have done stuff like this where I've like when you do a big, long trip, and then once the unit captures territory, I switch and immediately so the enemy is confused, and it has worked out for me after on. For Mexico though, he does slow, deliberate movements. Not slow, but just deliberate movements, as in he does it small bursts of movement, takes very valuable stuff. Like, he doesn't like going for more than, like, probably, I'd say 3 to 4 hours at a time for I noticed. Now, it could be longer than that. Granted, I don't check this match as often as the other one I did, so that could be completely off, but essentially Mexico likes taking short movements and deliberately strike cities in a way that cripples his enemy. As in, I can tell from I can tell Mexico does feel like, oh, he has this kind of army, I'll try to take this kind of city. Like, if using artillery or law vehicles, he goes for fuel, from what I can tell. So his movement's very deliberate and tactical, even. I think is the right word. Texas, I can't really discern it because he didn't move a lot till like the very end. So yeah, I think that basically wraps us up, huh? I catch y'all on the next series. I feel like it. Next time. Anyway, guys, I'll see you until then. Peace.